was also the beginning of the Mark Twain Zephyr from St. Louis to Burlington.
Ralph Budd and my grandfather was interested in stainless steel.
I don't know how he got in contact, but now enter part 2 of the story, the Mark Twain Zephyr.
I really hope that my first train ride is on the Zephyr.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us for another update on MarkTwainZephyr.com. Also our Facebook and Twitter pages at Mark Twain Zephyr. It's time now for another Sunday update, and we are just outside of Spooner with a special guest here on Sunday, November the 7th. And we have Jim Bauer. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And you have the task of welding some of the tanks, because as I found out that, of course, back when the Mark Twain Zephyr was around, pretty much when he went to the toilet, it pretty much went on the tracks.
Yeah, they can't have that.
And that's a big no-no, I think, since the 80s or 90s. There were some incidents we don't talk about. So we have to create something new for the Mark Twain Zephyr. And you are, well, tell us what exactly you're doing here.
Well, we're fabricating tanks. They are a septic tank. This inner tank will hold antifreeze with a heating element, which will keep everything nice and thawed out, so that when it comes time to empty it out, everything comes out like it should.
So this will be for, do you know what car? Or
I believe it's the number 1.
That's for the Huckleberry.
For the Huckleberry
Huckleberry?
Finn, big tall, big
Very
box.
okay.
Okay, so how do you start? You start with just sheets of
Your 4x8
or
sheets of
stainless
eighth inch steel. That's regular hot rolled steel.
Okay.
And I built, obviously built this first, and then weld that in, so that that's all sealed up, and then put the outside together and weld everything up.
Okay.
I'll have to put pipe connections here for draining, for inlet and outlet.
How long does it take to do a tank? Is it a long process, a short process?
It probably takes, I suppose, 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, somewhere between that.
For one tank, and then you obviously multiple. What's the hardest part of welding or doing this?
The hardest part, I would say, is tacking it up and getting everything to fit right. And anymore for me, the welding part is the easier part.
And how long? What's your background? How long have you been doing this? Is it full time?
Well, I'm 62, and I've been doing it since I was 18 or in high school.
So
is where
you learned in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No, I started with structural fabrication, and then went to a machine shop where they threw aluminum, stainless, everything under the sun at you.
Okay.
So that broadened my horizons.
And you do this full time, or?
Yep, full time.
And your whole life you've done it full time?
My whole life.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you work for yourself?
I went on my own in 2000.
Oh, okay.
And for 8 years.
Okay.
And then things got slow, so I went back to the 40-hour-a-week job, and there's a lot to be said for insurance gets expensive nowadays, and
True.
And all the expenses.
Does it take can you do this by yourself, or do you need like a second or third person?
I'm able to do this by myself. It's small enough to where I roll it around on the horses and get everything welded up good. So.
And have you ever worked on parts for a train before, or is this the first time you're building?
Nothing of this size. Yeah, I've done smaller parts and things, but.
And you said you've actually come and rode our dinner train and everything.
I did ride the dinner train. Yeah, I rode the Christmas train.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
And so, what are all the tanks that you're going to build for the train? Are they all about the same size, or are we doing?
I think they're roughly going to be all about the same size. Some are smaller, some are bigger, but yeah, they all have to be custom made because they're all different spaces for each train.
Okay.
So
And so, in addition to the septic or the toilet tank here for the Huck Finn, what other tanks are you building? I heard you were maybe doing some for the wastewater as well as
wastewater, yes, it's going to be a little bit larger tank, but it's going to hold both the wastewater and the septic too.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Look forward to your wonderful work here.
Yeah.
Almost just as good as the Bud shot welding from 1935. I tell you, this is the guy.
As we had talked, we're getting ready for the tanks. The tanks are actually getting manufactured. So things had gotten switched around. Originally, our water and everything was going to come from that back far left corner. But now that we've had time to lay things out a little bit better, our holding tanks and the way I'm setting them up, there's going to be room for a water heater and the pump right next to the tank, which will end up down below. So we kind of switched everything around a little bit here. They're all ready to go.
And this is the bathroom of the Tom Sawyer.
One of the bathrooms. Water comes in from up on the other side over there. That will actually be sitting right on top of the water heater and everything. Just trying to get everything wired in because there's a lot going on in here. We got electrical coming through here that feeds other stuff. The other two booths over there. And it's just trying to pass things through from one bathroom to the other. We got ductwork up there.
So you're going to install a light up here as well. Obviously.
This here is an exhaust.
Oh, an exhaust?
The ceiling's done. There'll be a diffuser over the top of it. As we've been using a lot of them small puck lights, there'll be a puck light here. The other bathroom will be the same. Then we got another light there. A light on each side of the booths. We'll have two lights in here. One on each side. Same as the other vestibule. But, the thing, as we were going, some of the stuff has changed. So the way the ceilings are getting done are a little bit different. So there is room to add the lights. And, we're getting down to the nitty gritty because I'm hoping that by, middle of November, end of November, to have, all the bathrooms and the plumbing all hooked up and running in here and also in the Huckleberry. That's kind of my goal, is to get them all hooked up, tanks mounted, fill everything up, test everything for leaks, make sure everything runs, and then drain it out. And not really, everything will have to get wrapped and heat taped and insulated, but that won't be till next fall. So, got a lot to do. And then we can concentrate just on the FED because there's two bathrooms in the FED that they still have a lot to be done on. And yeah, this one's pretty much the same because in each corner, there'll be a sink here. So all of this has to get a fancy curved box around it. These a junction box over in the corner here, same as in the other one. These are the line sets for the air conditioning units and for the condensing lines, and this is where the mains come in from underneath the car. It's just there's a lot of small piddly things that have to get done, and it has to really get thought through before we close up the ceiling. And on that ceiling is ready to get closed in. Get that all closed in, and then we can start doing the boxes around everything, and putting in the sink and the toilet. That's the easy part. It's all the prep work to get to that point. And then obviously I got to make some kind of doors for these. I have a general idea because we didn't want to take off this stuff here, so I gotta kind of. It'll all work out. It's just you gotta kind of think through it a little bit, and every day when I'm in here and I'm walking around, I kind of run ideas through my heads on how I'm gonna frame this out and still use this original stainless steel for the door stop because the doors obviously have to open in. So it'll all work out though.
Thanks so much for joining us for another update on the Mark Twain Zephyr at the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. Before you leave, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can do this by clicking on the red subscribe button. That way, you'll be among the first to know when we post our next update. And be sure to check out marktwainzephyr.com, where we post additional content during the week. You can also watch previous update videos you might have missed. We are also on Facebook and Twitter at Mark Twain Zephyr.
It was so far ahead of its time. It was going to be made out of stainless steel.
Did he design the whole
He designed the whole train.
Times the Mark Twain Zephyr were so crowded, she would have to stand between Quincy and him.
The stainless steel cars, and I at that age, young, and how bright it was, and